iPhone, and I'm going to put it up on my little. Oh, we're live. Yeah, live. I was
hello.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. We're live here on KCN with Paula Garnett, our relationship expert, KCN relationship expert. And I'm going to get us live on Instagram here too.
Okay.
It says we're now live on Instagram too.
Does it?
Let me see if you want to
join on Instagram.
Come and join us on there.
Says we're now live on Instagram too. Here. Am I on Instagram? Join? No.
Yeah, I see you there. It says you've joined. And then if you want to send me a request to join, I will accept it.
Okay.
See it?
Yeah, I see you there.
I think you'll have to mute my sound on Instagram. Okay, I have just accepted your request to go live on Instagram.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we have feedback. There, how's that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
I can. Okay, great. Maybe I can take these out then. Can I hear you? Can you say something now?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay, you. Perfect. Great. Okay, I think we figured it out. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're here live on KCN for our Tuesday KCN Nooner. And we have with us Paula Garnett, our relationship expert, who has joined us today. So we are going to ask her 5 questions about appreciation in relationships. So thank you so much for being with us here today, Paula.
Oh, you're welcome. This is one of my favorite topics. I think it's not given enough credit, and it's a big deal that can make a big impact in relationships. So I'm excited to join you today.
Awesome. Okay, you're on Instagram, right? So you can hear me on Instagram? Oh, no, they can only hear, okay, yeah. They can only hear you on Instagram, apparently. Now I think you can hear me. I had it muted. I think we're good now. If you guys can hear me on Instagram, please just put a thumbs up in the messages. Thank you.
We'll figure this out.
I think
there's a bit of feedback. Do you have one of yours muted?
No, I have them both on. I wonder if I should put my headphones in. Does that help?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and get started with this first question. Oh, ta-da! Thank you so much for letting us know, guys. Somebody said ta-da, so thumbs up. Thank you. All right. First question that we have from one of our viewers is, how can I express my appreciation for my partner more effectively?
I think a big piece of it is just having an open conversation about it, asking how appreciation sort of lands and can be received by your partner so that they're actually noticing, like, oh, it's coming my way. And it's really important to be able to really be intentional about scanning the day, scanning your partner for what's going right in the relationship, and then express it. Try it out, but I think the main piece of it is how to express it more effectively is to ask. about what they're needing, how they like it. Everybody might have a different way that they receive it, where one person might like, you know, the contribution of kind of joining in, doing dishes together, but that might not land for another person. It might be the verbal affirmation of just being able to hear the words, I see you, I hear you, I appreciate you.
So I'm curious about asking for what you need, and kind of on both ends of that. So when you're asking your partner for what you need, do you literally say, "What do you need?" Or like, how can you like what's a really good way to articulate that to your partner?
It's something that is effective is even being able to have kind of a carved out time to be able to talk, and then end the conversation or the ritual of being able to ask, how can I love you better next week? So it might not be a long term, this is what I'm needing in my life from you, but it can even be looking at this week, you know, maybe I'm struggling with something that something would be really meaningful or seem helpful to me that I don't necessarily want all the time, but this week it would be important. So to kind of check in and just ask each other, how can I love you better this week?
That's a good point of making it a regular occurrence, because I think a lot of us maybe do it once in a blue moon. And kind of that's maybe why our comfort level isn't really, it doesn't feel super easy, I guess, is where I'm going with that. And also, and I mean, for me, and I know probably for a lot of people, it's hard to express our needs. It's hard to say what we need. Is there any, and I think what you're saying, the more you check in for both people, expressing your needs and asking what the other person needs, I think the more comfortable you probably will get with it, because it becomes like, you know, like going to the gym. It's you build that muscle. But for people who have trouble expressing what they need to their partner, is there any way to sort of share that? I guess maybe there's a certain vulnerability around it. But
Yeah, I think that sometimes it's saying what I need. Sometimes it's easier to give than it is to receive. So some people have this like guilt, like, oh no, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, you know. But there really is changing the perspective that it isn't necessarily specifically just for me taking, but it actually is. I can have a need and express it so that it's setting my partner up to shine for me. It really lets them be able to keep relevant, keep up to date of what would be meaningful. And it really is an opportunity for them to be like, oh, here's a way that I can meet my partner's needs that I wouldn't know about if they didn't share it with me. So it really is taking the perspective of, let me help my partner shine.
I love the way you just put that, setting my partner up to shine. That's such a beautiful way of looking at it. And that makes it feel easier, especially for, you know, people who are givers. That's like giving them the shine, giving them that space to shine in, that container to shine in. Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's go on to our next question. How can I show my partner that I appreciate them on a daily basis?
I think be creative and just kind of try things out and see how they feel and land. It's expressing appreciation, whether it's verbally, physically, leaving little notes, surprises that are thoughtful. It isn't about a big price tag. It's about doing little things that are reminding them that you matter to me, you're important to me. Kissing passionately, asking them, how can I love you better? And giving compliments. Right? Sometimes we get complacent and get used to, especially the strength of a long-term relationship or having a history together. We kind of can get out of the touch and take those little things for granted. So really being intentional about noticing them in different ways, expressing our appreciation and affection.
And keeping it in the moment. And like you said, it can change every day. Maybe it's a different way of showing that appreciation, but being creative and figuring it out. Somebody just left a comment. Oh, it's Matthew. Mr. Matthew Hoffman is watching, and he says he'll often ask his wife, "How well am I filling your love tank right now?" So that's how he.
That's a nice way to put it.
That's a good.
Filling each other up. I think too, when we do love takes full, it really allows the relationship to become more resilient. So when hard times do hit, we have enough of a buffer that's not knocking the wind out of us, right? We have more grace for each other because we've got that buffer, that we're kind of a little bit more forgiving of some of the failures or shortcomings of our partner because we're looking and noticing about what's great with them. How are we doing good?
I really like that. I think I've heard somebody use a similar analogy as to like a bank account, like you're filling your bank account every time you're doing one of these activities. Yeah. So, and then you have more to withdraw in those moments where things aren't going so well.
Relationship. So it really is to be able to flow with the seasons, but being proactive, to stay connected so they can withstand some of those challenging times.
Right. Okay, next question. And we're saving the best question for last, by the way. The title of this live was how can I deal with feeling unappreciated in my relationship with, I think, probably every single one of us have experienced from time to time, but we're saving that question for last. So saving the best for last. The third question that we have for today is how can I get my partner to show more appreciation for me?
This is a good one. The Gottman research says that 2 minutes of focused conversation per day is more impactful than a week of unfocused, right? So we've got technology, we've got busy schedules, and if we could carve out even just 2 minutes a day of putting it all aside and focusing on our partner, on having meaningful conversation, connecting, appreciating, it does more good than a week of unfocused. So I think even creating, how can we build in rituals into the relationship that really just are intentional about appreciation? It might be meeting at the end of the day for 2 minutes and being able to share what I like about you. It isn't necessarily saying thanks for, driving the kids around today. It really is about what's the characteristic of my partner that I appreciate and I love about them and admire about them. And then being able to give a relevant example from the day or the week. So even the characteristic that I appreciate about my partner might be, I just appreciate how organized you are. It makes the week run so much smoother. And the way I benefited from your strength this week was being able to have the ride organized of who's going where, and it just made it a lot less stressful.
Oh, those are some really
not just
great examples.
A small incident like thanks for taking the kids. It's actually like more to go down deeper layer. What's the characteristic that your partner is demonstrating that's meaningful? And
then maybe how it made you feel that they did that for you as part of that discussion. So I think that's a great idea, making time every day to do it. Is that something you would like intentionally set out with your partner? Like 9 a.m. every morning, let's get together and have those 2 minutes of appreciation? Or like, how intentional should it be, in your opinion?
Well, great relationships don't just happen. They're created. So it really is about developing healthy habits within the relationship that just create a culture of appreciation. And sometimes life gets busy. Sometimes we do have to sort of schedule it in, not necessarily on a calendar, but hey, this is just what we do as sort of our morning routine or our evening routine. But yeah, it is about having a conversation because we can't hold an expectation without both of us being on board with it.
That is such a great point, because I think so many people get into relationships and they think they're just supposed to work. It's just supposed to happen. And so many people don't realize late in life that it's intentional. You have to work at it. And that's normal, because I think people think when you have to work at it that it's not normal and there's something wrong. But I understand what you're saying. Probably a great deal now, more later in life for me, that it has to be intentional. And it's meant to be intentional, because how else, if you're not communicating and you're not intentionally creating those experiences that you want with your partner, how else is it going to happen? It doesn't just come out of thin air. So I think those are really great.
Yeah, and I think it eliminates the pitfall of just living in assumption, right? As the years pass, we evolve, we change, and keeping up to date, connected, sharing each other's inner world and growing together. If we're just kind of operating on like, two separate paths and just assuming that we're on the same track, it ends up feeling lonely and disconnected.
Yeah, the exact opposite of what we want in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, the rituals, little caveat rituals of appreciation in our day is important. But I also just think, the common courtesy of thank you, right? Say it throughout the day, not just being, complacent and letting things slide and then, creating that sort of wedge of like, I'm not being noticed, right? Notice your partner, notice what they're doing right and express it.
And I think I'm starting to hear almost a common theme and a common thread through all of these things. And it's being present, really being present with your partner and communicating those moments of presence.
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody else on the live stream has any comments, please go ahead and put them in the chat. We would love to or hear any of your experiences with any of this or any of your insight on any of this, showing appreciation with your partner or how to feel more appreciation from your partner. We would love to hear more. Please go ahead and put it in the comments. But we're going to move on to our next question now. And that's, how can I make sure that my partner knows I appreciate them?
I think that this really ties the previous questions together, and it's just staying up to date, communicating, asking, are you feeling appreciated, valued, being able to give validation and reassurance within the relationship about how much your partner means to you, what you're seeing about them, what you admire about them, and be able to ask, how can I love you better this next week? Is there something that is meaningful to you? Some people like physical affection. Some people prefer words of affirmation. Keep learning each other. Be curious.
And do you think those things change over time? Like, you hear a lot about the love languages. Do people continuously have the same love language throughout their lifetime and throughout their relationship? Or do you think, or have you seen that it actually changes during the duration of a relationship?
Yeah, I think different times can bring out different needs. So if someone is particularly stressed or going through something, maybe not their primary love language is acts of service, but it might really resonate and be relevant for them during a certain period where they are facing more challenges in sort of being so busy or overwhelmed. And so I think it is important to stay up to date and engaged and knowing what's going on so that you can jump in and support your partner in a meaningful way rather than just assuming that, words of affirmation will just cover it.
Right. So being present again and communicating, it all comes back to that commonality.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to lead us into the last question here that we've been saving for last, because I think most of us struggle with this at one time or another in relationships. And I think it's a very important topic, and it's, how can I deal with feeling unappreciated in my relationship?
If you're going through a time where you are feeling unappreciated or taken for granted, I think we all experience that from time to time. And I think that it isn't about shying away from expressing it. You can complain without blaming. So, in a conversation, instead of saying to your partner, you're not and sharing how your partner is lacking or failing, I think if you can frame it in an I statement, it can actually create a really meaningful conversation that just doesn't lead your partner into feeling defensive or criticized. So being able to say, hey, I am feeling unappreciated about sort of the role I'm taking within the house or outside, whatever it might be, and then being able to share what would be helpful, being able to go back to setting your partner up to success, to shine, right? They may not know that that's how you're feeling. They may be unaware of how alone you might be feeling or unseen. And so I think to be able to enter a conversation without the resentment or the attack mode, but really being able to talk about yourself, I statements, soften it up a little bit that way. I think another piece that's important is to really self-reflect. Because sometimes if we're in a negative sentiment override in a relationship, we're actually missing out on 50% of the good things about the relationship, as well as 50% of the good things about our partner. So is through self-reflection, am I missing the appreciation that is getting shared? I'm sitting and I'm sort of in this space of noticing that that's lacking. And it might be, but it also might not be. So being intentional to just do sort of a self-reflection, a check-in of being really intentional about seeing how I'm contributing to my own experience.
And so I guess it would probably be good to have that self-reflection before we communicate to our partner how we're feeling, like how unappreciated we're feeling.
Well, I think the combination is great. I think that self-reflection before allows you to go in with more informed and more of a softer, like an awareness of how I might be experiencing it. But even if you are in negative sentiment override, to be able to express to your partner what you are experiencing, because I'm feeling unappreciated. Can you help me? Right? I'm not noticing some things that are probably happening, right? I'm sort of sitting in a feeling of alone and unseen, and I'm starting to get resentful, which means I'm probably missing out on some of the great things that are happening.
Oh, I love the way you framed that. That's really great. Rather than saying, you're making me feel unappreciated, all of those other things, asking for help with your perspective on it, on the relationship that's beautiful, beautifully put.
And then I think the other thing is that a lot of people kind of put as the last their priority list is self-care, self-appreciation. If the statement of we teach people how to treat us is true, how are we valuing and sort of sitting in our own appreciation or self-care of what is, recognizing our successes, being able to take time for ourselves to just be present and be in the moment and really take care of our own needs.
So important, because if we can't appreciate ourselves, how can we expect anybody else to appreciate us?
Yeah, and we're not in relationship for our partner to just have to do all the work of meeting all of our own needs.
Oh, that's a golden nugget right there. Wow, that's huge. Yeah. It's a really good point.
It's an important one, and I think too, if you continue, if this is a theme that's happening in the relationship where the unappreciation just continues and grows, or feeling like I don't know how to navigate to sort of get through this, seek help, whether it's individual therapy or couples therapy, being able to be intentional about learning new skills and finding new ways to kind of create and design a relationship that feels great for both people.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all of your amazing insight on all of these questions around appreciation today. And for everybody listening, we have a lot of resources at Kick-Ass Couples Nation. We have the blog posts, we have the podcast, we have weekly webinars. If you go onto the website and join Kick-Ass Couples Nation, we have weekly webinars. We have coaching available. There's a lot of opportunity for you to get help with your relationship, and that's what we're here for. And so go and check all of those things out. And we have got lives happening here every Tuesday at noon Eastern. So we would love for you to join us here every Tuesday at noon Eastern. And thank you so much for being here with us, everybody. Thank you so much, Paula. And we look forward to seeing you all here again next week. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye.